Okay, so this is working well. I'm going to close this off now. Back to our code, back to the header JS, this one over here, or the navbar JS. I don't know, I keep calling that header JS. So we need to look for this over here. Then we need to change up a couple of things. So this is the URL that's holding all that. How about I say something like I don't know if that's gonna work, but let's just try float right. Float right, that seems not to be working. I don't know if this is bootstrap 4, but let's say float starts. Should that be float start or float end? Let's try end. If that doesn't work, I'm just gonna leave it and check it out for later. Okay, and let's see, that seems not to be working. Okay, we can still write our code even though that's not working. All right, or you know what, I'm gonna try it over here. Let's say float right. Then this is definitely not working. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix this later. Then we can work. I just want to push all this over here. I don't know the version of Bootstrap I'm using, but don't worry, I don't want to waste much time. I'm gonna do this later. This is still gonna work perfectly well. So what we want to do now is go ahead and change up a couple of things. I'm gonna remove the disabled button, this one over here, and I just want to stick with this one. So I'm gonna call this login, and I'm gonna call this register. Okay, there you go, login and register. Let's put this side by side so you guys can actually see. Okay, but yeah, there you go, login and register. So what I want to check is quite easy. I'm just going to check if token actually exists, which means there is actually an auth token in the local storage. So if it actually exists, that means a user is logged in, right? Then I want to go ahead and change the buttons over here to either login or logout. Okay, so now how do we do that? Just over here at the top, firstly we need to import a couple of things. So the first thing I could say we should import is jwt_decode, and this should be coming from jwt decode, just like that. What else do we need? Let's say we need to import the use context, right? So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to say, hey, I want to import the use context. So the use context, just like that. And I'm also going to go ahead and import the auth context. You know what? I could just grab this from the register page, right? To just save us some time. So over here, we got auth context thing. I'm just going to import it over here. There you go. I think that's pretty much everything that we need. And let's also import link. Let's also import link. There you go. That's pretty much everything that we need. Now let's write a very, very simple function to check if a user actually exists and all that. Okay. So what I want to do is this. I'm going to say const user, and I'm going to say const logout user, and we should grab all this from the use context. Then we're going to pass in the auth context. That's because we want to grab in the login user function, the logout user function, and the user function that we created in the auth context. Hopefully you remember that. So when we've done this, we're going to define a new variable and we're going to call this one token. Okay, so I want to say token should be equal to local storage.getItem. So what do we want to get from the item? Remember when I checked out my local storage, I have this yeah, this is it. I have this key called auth token that saves this. So I want to grab the auth token from the local storage. Okay, so now I'm going to write a very simple conditional statement to check for something. So I'm going to say if token, that means there is actually token in the local storage. So if token, what do I want to do? I want to use a var, and I'm going to say, or instead of using the var, firstly let's just go ahead and decode this. So what I'm going to say is should we actually, yeah, let's decode it. So I'm going to say const decoded should be equal to, then let's call the jwt decode thing that we imported, and we're going to pass in token. So remember, we usually need to decode a token to get, you know, the user logged in informations like the username, the password, the ID, and other kind of stuff. So if we call const decoded, then say jwt token, that means we decode this token that we got from the local storage. That means now we can have access to the user ID, right? So what I can do is go ahead and say var, then I'm just going to say user ID should be equal to what? I'm going to say decoded dot user underscore ID. So this decoded over here now has a parameter or an attribute called user ID. So that's pretty much what we want to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and grab this token. And for the login and register, we need to start writing very simple conditional statements. We're going to say if token is equal to null, That means there is not an auth token in the local storage, right? Then what do we want to do? That means we can go ahead and show the the login and register button, but we're gonna get in this error, so make sure to wrap this in a fragment like this. Okay, there you go. So right now, as you can see, we can see only home because actually something exists in the token. So I'm gonna copy this again and I'm gonna paste this down here, and let's indent our code so it looks good. So we're gonna say if token, firstly we said if token is equal to null, we show that. How about token is not null? Then what do you want to do? You can do something like if token is not equal to null, then this time around show logout, and also, but instead of the logout, let's just put in dashboard as the first one, show dashboard and show logout. Okay, so for the logout, we need to go ahead and log the user out. How do we do that? Firstly, let's start with the login. Okay, so I'm gonna change up all this to link. Seems we've got an issue for ourselves. So let's change this to link, just like that. And also we need to change this one also to link. There you go. So instead of href, this is gonna be a 2. Okay, seems there is an issue for this one. It should be a link. So instead of href, this should be 2. Now where do we want to redirect them to? We can say / then login, right? So one can be login, then the other one should be what? Register. Okay, so login and register, as simple as that. So how about if a user is not logged in, they want to log them out? So this one is going to be quite easy. Instead of doing all this, putting in the href thing, we could just go ahead and call the onClick method. So whenever a user clicks on the logout button, we want to go ahead and call the logout user function. So remember, if we call the logout user function, we simply flush everything that we've got in the local storage. Okay, but as you can see, this doesn't have like a pointer kind of thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick style. But you know, it should be a React kind of style, and this one should be pointer, or instead it should be cursor, not pointer. So we're going to say cursor, and this should be a pointer cursor. And there you go. So now we can go ahead and log out. What do you notice? We are logged out perfectly well. Then we can see login and register. So if we come over to login, we're there. Come over to register, we're there. So let's say I want to log in with my account and I hit login. We bring us over here. Then we can simply go ahead and log out again. As you can see, we are logged out. Then I can log in again, brings us over here. And as you can see, it's making a post request to the API. Take a close look down here. If I log out, as you can see, it flushes it. If I log in, as you can see, it makes a post request to the API, and as simple as that. So I think that's pretty much it. Now we should go ahead and work with the dashboard, right? So in order to work with the dashboard or the protected routes or the protected page, you can call it whatever you want. What we simply need to do is go ahead and change this dashboard thing to /dashboard. Should that be it, right? So now if we come over to /dashboard, there you go. We're accessing the dashboard now because we are actually logged in. So if for any reason we have to go ahead and log out, and we paste in the dashboard code and try accessing the dashboard, okay, this seems to still be bringing us in here. Hopefully we don't have anything in the auth in the local storage. Let's see. Yeah, we don't have anything in the local storage. This is supposed to redirect us to the login page. So let's see what's going on. Actually, it's not displaying anything, but it's going to display something if we have anything right there in the page. So that's wrong. Let's see. So right now we are not logged in, and we try. Is there actually a page that's called dashboard? So let's open up the app. Let's open up the app.js. Okay, there you go. Private route, component, dashboard. And part should be /dashboard. So we try visiting /dashboard. Initial. Okay, there you go. This is working perfectly well now. So if we try visiting the dashboard route and we are not logged in, as you can see, it just returns us back to this page over here, to the login page. Okay, so hopefully you can see that it returns us to this page. There you go. I think we were making a mistake with the dashboard text before. Now in the dashboard page, let's just go ahead and copy out the dashboard code. Right, that's this one over here. I'm gonna close this off, and let's just grab the dashboard, and as we've been doing, I'm just gonna paste this I don't think we need the nav. Hopefully you already know that. We just need this one over here. So let's go ahead and copy that. And hopefully that should be it. We've got a couple of things over here. So let's just copy all this. I'm going to copy all that. I'm going to come over to HTML to JSX. Let's make this kind of big so we can see everything that we're copying. Is this actually pasting everything in? Some things seems to be missing. So we seem to be missing the scripts and all that. It seems it's omitted the scripts. Yeah, it's omitted the script. So we're gonna put that back later. Now let's just come over to the dashboard. I'm gonna come over to dashboard.js, this one over here, and let's just paste in the dashboard code. There you go. So we paste in the dashboard code. Let's get back here. As you can see, we are not logged in right now. Let's just go ahead and log in. Then let's try accessing the dashboard page again. I'm going to come over to dashboard. What do you notice? Now we can access the dashboard in peace. There you go. But seems there is this should be 60px. So that's okay. This should be like this. I actually want to give some space so we can see what's at the top. But this should be pattern top 60px. This seems not to be working. Let's actually remove this. Let's say MT4 and see if that works. Okay. Okay, actually seems the padding top was working, but we just need to add in a couple of numbers over there. There you go, it's working. But that seems a little too much. Okay, yeah, this is perfect. So as you can see, it says hello Destiny, but for any user that logs in, it's still gonna say hello Destiny. We just want to get the actual user that logged in, and instead of calling one user name. So what I'm gonna look for is the hello Destiny, this dude over here. Well, instead of changing, before we change this, let's help back to the dashboard just at the top over here. We need to write some function to grab some things. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by calling the const. But before that, let's import a couple of things. I'm just going to go ahead and say import. We could just import use Axios from. Remember we created this, and this is in the utils. If you can still remember, utils/use Axios. There you go. Now we import the use Axios. What else do we need? We need JWT the code. So I'm going to say import JWT the code from JWT the code. There you go. Do we need something else? I think that's pretty much what we need. Okay, we also need the use. You know what? I'm gonna open this up so you guys can see everything. We need the use effects and the use state. So let's close all this up. Open up the dashboard, JS again, and over here we just need to import the use state, and we also need to import the use effects. As simple as that. Now let's write a simple code to grab the user. So let's define a state firstly. I'm gonna say const res, and let's say set res. So res pretty much stands for response. Okay, and I'm just gonna pass in the use state thing, and let's add in an empty string over here. So what is this response that I want to grab? If you come over to the views.py backend and come over to the test, then you're gonna see that I passed in this test data over here, this response that says congratulations Destiny, request us user is Destiny. Hopefully you already know that your API just responded to a GET request, so we want to make use of this. Okay, so what we can do is we say const res API. Also, let's instantiate the use Axios thing. So I'm gonna say const API should be equal to use Axios. Hopefully you guys already know that you can call this whatever you want. You can call this whatever you want. You can call this whatever you want, but you can't call this whatever you want because we are actually importing them from React or either our own package that we coded ourselves. So when we've done that, what we simply need to do is also go ahead and decode the token. So I'm gonna say const. So let's just say const, and let's call this token should be equal to local storage.get items, local storage.get item, and what is it called? Hopefully you already know, auth tokens. There you go. So auth tokens, I think that's pretty much it. We can still do the same thing that we did if there is a token and all that, but let's just go do it because it's gonna be a nice check. So we're gonna say if token, that means a user actually exists. Then what do we want to do? We're gonna say const the code should be equal to JWT the code. Then we need to pass in the token. So this is gonna go ahead and decode this token that we grabbed over here to get the username, the password, and all that kind of stuff. So after we've done that, let's just go ahead and grab the user ID, the username, the full name there. That's if we have that in the model. I'm going to go ahead and check out my models API to see what we've got. I've actually forgotten. So we have image, bio, full name, user, verified. Let's check out our serializer. So in our serializer, we actually passed in image and yeah, all this. So this is perfect. Now in our dashboard, we can actually grab all those informations. Is there actually a space where we can put them there? Let's see what's going on. It says it can't read the interceptors thing. Cannot read properties of undefined, reading interceptors. I think this should be the issue, right? That should be the issue. Okay, as you can see, that's the issue. So we definitely need to find a way to fix this. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so right now we are getting this error over here. This error definitely is related to the use access thing that we created. So just over here, I think we have an issue over here. The auth tokens, the access that we passed in should only be here, and there shouldn't be anything like dot access over here. Seems I made a typographical error. So that error should be gone. There you go. Perfect. It's gone. So now back to the dashboard over here. I'm going to put this side by side also so that we can see everything that's going on. So in the dashboard, all we need to do is just go ahead and grab all the user information. So now we've decoded it. All we just need to do is say const user underscore ID should be equal to decode dot user underscore ID. So now let's say you want to use the user ID. This one over here is going to be whichever user that's logged in. Okay, so this user ID is whichever user that's logged in. I just want you to know that. Okay, so another thing that we need to do is go ahead and get the username. So you could say something like actually I'm just going to use a var for all this. Okay, so this one is user ID. I'm going to say username, and let's just put in the username. We can also grab the full name if the user actually have a full name. I'm going to say full name, and let's paste it there, the full name, and also the image, and that should be decoded dot image. I think that should be it. Let's just go ahead and remove this one. So now if I try calling this username right here where we say hello destiny, so I'm going to look for the hello destiny thing. What is all this? We've got a lot of all this by the side. So from the hello destiny, I'm just going to call this username. That seems to be throwing an error. So let's just say username. Okay, it says destiny is not defined. So what's going on? Could this be? I'm guessing there should be an issue, right? Okay, there you go. It's working perfectly well. So as you can see, we have hello destiny. So this is working well.